Kopidana-vallabha girivaradhari. Kopidana-vallabha girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Bradadannaranjana Yasodanandana Bradadannaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Daihoradhammadavo Kunjabihari Gopijana-vallabha girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Bradadannaranjana Bradadannaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Jayoradhammadavo Kunjabihari. Jam Vishnupad Paramangsa Parirajikacharya Satara Satasisi Matirani Goswami Sivangare Saisi Bhaktanta Samara Srila Prabhupada Ki Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Gaur Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, 17th chapter, the divisions of faith, text number 13. I don't think we have a board, so I'm just going to read it. Vidhi-hīnam asṛṣṭa-annam mantra-hīnam adakṣiṇam śraddhā-virahitaṁ yajñam tāmasam paricakṣate. Vidhi-hīnam, without scriptural direction. Asṛṣṭa-annam, without distribution of prasādam. Mantra-hīnam, with no chanting of the Vedic hymns. Adakṣiṇam, with no remuneration to the priests. Śraddhā, faith. Virahitam, without. Yajñam, sacrifice. Tāmasam, in the mode of ignorance. Paricakṣate, is to be considered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of Scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Purport. Faith in the mode of darkness or ignorance is actually faithlessness. Sometimes people worship some demigod just to make money and then spend the money for recreation. ignoring the scriptural injunctions. Such ceremonial shows of religiosity are not accepted as genuine. They're all in the mode of darkness. They produce a demoniac mentality and do not benefit human society. Vidhi-hīnam, asṛṣṭa-annam, mantra-hīnam, adakṣiṇam, śraddhā-virahitaṁ, yajñam, tāmasam, paricakṣate. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of Scripture, without distribution of prasādam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Was the Hindi class the same shloka or was it different shloka? Different. Chapter 12, okay, just checking. Om ajñānatimirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya-manobhishtam stapitam yena bhutale svayam rupa gadamayam dadhati svapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripadamaham vande Sri Guru Dinotaranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyeva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So here in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the divisions of faith, which means different types of activities according to the modes of material nature. Today we're hearing about sacrifice in the mode of ignorance. You may think, how is this possible? How can you sacrifice in the mode of ignorance? First person that comes to mind is Vrikasura. Have you heard of Vrikasura? Vrika, yeah. No, not Vritra. Vrikasura. The one who was cutting off his own flesh and he was offering to Shiva in the fire because he wanted to obtain a benediction from Lord Shiva. And nothing happened, so after some time he took a bath and he was ready to chop off his own head with the chopper. That is sacrifice in the mode of ignorance. It was certainly sacrifice, but cutting off your own flesh and throwing it in the fire, not such a nice type of sacrifice. Then of course we know the story. Lord Shiva came and he said, no, it's okay. He touched him, his body became whole. And then he asked him, so what do you want? And Vrika had the great idea that I want that whoever's head I touch, it will burst into 1,000 pieces. What a terrible benediction, right? So this shows that sacrifice in the mode of ignorance is pain in the beginning, pain in the middle, and pain at the end. It is not only useless, but it is destructive to the person who engages in it and destructive to others. Nowadays we have a lot of people who are saying work is worship. Have you ever heard that one? Work is worship, right? They're of this great idea that if you just do work, you'll be a good person. And the more work you do, the better person you are. So better work 30 hours per day. Can you do that? Yes, certainly, right? That's modern advancement. You can work 30 hours per day. Yet, the work is self-destructive. It is abusive to the individual, and it is abusive to the environment, and the outcome is very destructive as well. So that is the unfortunate situation of so-called modern-day advancement. You can see more and more motor cars. Have you noticed, even here in Vrindavan? More and more motor cars. Everywhere you step, you have to, everything is like risking life when you're venturing out onto the roads. So people have lost their peace of mind, and thus they have lost their mind. And without peace, according to Bhagavad Gita, there is no happiness. Have you noticed that if you're not peaceful, there's no real happiness? Like you can be in Vrindavan, in the best places of all places, but if your mind is not peaceful, you're not feeling the happiness. What to speak of the bhav. Has this ever happened to you? You're in Vrindavan, but something is bothering your mind. You're disturbed by something. So that's why just traveling to other places is not sufficient, because wherever you go, you're already there, because it's the same mind that you carry around. So unless our mind, mora man Vrindavan, unless our mind becomes absorbed in Vrindavan, we're not really in Vrindavan. Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, the late Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, he had a quote on his desk in Govardhan, and that quote said, when the inside and the outside becomes the same, that's when real bhajan starts. When the inside and the outside becomes the same, that's when real bhajan starts. In other words, it doesn't matter how big your mala, how big your beads, how big your tilak, and everything else is. What really matters is our integrity. What is our intention? Today is the appearance day of Madhavacharya, who is one of the Vaishnava Sampradaya Acharyas. Udupi is his main seat. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from his Sampradaya 2 principles. Who knows what he took from the Madhvas? This is Bhakti Shastri Plus. This is a little quiz here. Now I know most of you just felt comfortable from Hindi class and you just stuck around for another bonus round, free English class. What did Madhavacharya teach that Lord Chaitanya appreciated very much? Come on, work with me, sadhus. What comes to your mind when you hear Madhavacharya? Humility is always a good thing. That's always nice, yes. But that was not the main thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from Madhavacharya. What is Madhavacharya known for? Which deity? Krishna, yes, Krishna. In Udupi there is Krishna Mat, wonderful deity of Krishna, that Madhavacharya worshipped. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took this principle to worship Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he took from the Madhvas. What else is Madhava known for? Come on, work with me, sadhus. Dvaitavad, yes, very good. His main contribution was to show that the jiva, the atma, and the paramatma are different. They're not the same. They're distinctly different, not in quality but in quantity. So he went to great lengths to refute Shankaracharya's philosophy. So these 2 principles Chaitanya Mahaprabhu extracted from Madhva, and he incorporated it into our Sampradaya. Today is also Dasera, the day where Ram gained victory over Ravan. So today is a great day of celebration. One time in Kamyavan, the gopis were telling Krishna that in your former life, you were Ram, and you had a whole lot of monkeys. And Krishna said, yes. They said, and the monkeys, they were building such a bridge, such a big bridge. Krishna said, yes. They said, we want to see it. We want to see the pastime. So Krishna started playing the flute, and all the monkeys came. And they built a bridge over one kund. They were building a bridge, and the gopis were very happy to see that. They were not interested in Ram, but they were interested in Krishna performing different leelas, different pastimes. So, in today's verse, the topic is sacrifice. Sacrifice in the mode of ignorance is not following the direction of scriptures. There's certainly a lot of people who are performing sacrifice. They're working hard, they're giving in charity, they're doing what they consider good deeds. But oftentimes, most of the time, almost all the time, because they're not following scripture, as we've mentioned earlier, it is harmful to themselves, harmful to others. So the outcome is bad. In such type of activities, there is no distribution of prasad. Just like when you have this great industrial affair that we see nowadays. People are working in big factories. Have you noticed? Prabhupada always mentioned that tire factory, because you pass it on the way from Delhi. But there is no, even though people are working so hard, there is really there's no distribution of prasadam in any of these establishments. So a sacrifice without prasadam is not really is not really a proper sacrifice. When Srila Prabhupada started this movement in New York, he gave Bhagavad Gita class in 26 2nd Avenue. It was a very simple setting. The place is maybe 1/3 of this hall. And a few young people showed up, and Prabhupada did not have any resources. In fact, the only money he had was from selling his books. He placed his books in different bookstores in Delhi. And he would go around every second week to check on the book sales. One time a lady, a book vendor, she asked him, "Are you from India?" And Prabhupada said, "Yes." She said, "I love Indian food." He said, "What do you like?" She said, "I like samosa." So next time Prabhupada came, he brought samosa for her, because she was his Sankirtan devotee. She was distributing books for him. Prabhupada only had the money that he would receive from selling his books. And you can imagine, not too many books got sold that way. So, yet after every program, Prabhupada took an apple and he cut it in different slices and he handed the plate around, and everybody took one slice of the apple. One time there was a person who was very aggressive. He was very hostile. I know here it is rare, but in the West it happens quite regularly. Especially when people take intoxication, when they're drunk or under drugs, they become very violent, very angry. So this man was very angry, very hostile. And when the time came for prasad distribution, Prabhupada handed him the plate, and on the plate were slices of apple and a knife. So the man had the choice. He could pick up the knife or he could pick up the apple. And Prabhupada just very lovingly, he handed him the plate. And the man paused and he took the apple. Prabhupada was fearless. He was never afraid. He said, one time the devotees were saying, when Prabhupada was telling that he had in Kolkata, when he was a young boy, he was telling that when they built Victoria train station in Calcutta, there was big scaffolding out of bamboo. And with his school friends, they made a wage, they made a bet. Who would be bold enough to climb that scaffolding? It's many, many stories high, maybe 8 or 10 stories high. Prabhupada said, I climbed that scaffolding, that bamboo scaffolding, and I won the wager. And the devotee said, "Oh, Prabhupada, you were very courageous. Back then you were very courageous." And Prabhupada said, "I am still very courageous now." Prabhupada said, "I came to your country, nobody invited me. Like sometimes we travel and we preach, and sometimes people ask, who invited you? And I say, I don't need an invitation to the house of my father. It's like, if you go to your father's house, do you need an invitation? No, you don't. Like Sati was telling to her husband, Shiva, that I don't need an invitation to go to my father's home. It's my dad's place. I can go there any day, right? So, at one time I was in a certain place, and the leader of that place asked me, who invited you here? But he said it in a different way. He said, who did you come with? Meaning, who brought you? Who invited you? And I said, me? I came with the train. And we both laughed, because he understood that I understood what he meant. So, we don't need to be invited if our intention is to serve Krishna. Everything is about our intention. Why am I here in Vrindavan? Have you noticed a lot of people come here for different reasons? Chatur vidha bhajante mam janaksu kritinorjuna arto jigyasur artarti gyanischa bharatarshava. Some people are suffering. They think, let me find some shanti. Let me find some peace. Other people are thinking, oh, maybe it's a good business opportunity. Maybe I can sell something here. Have you noticed? Yeah. So different motives, different reasons why people come. And honestly, any reason to come to a holy place is a good reason. It's a good enough reason to come to a holy place, but it's not a good enough reason to stay in the holy place. Because as soon as we feel a little peaceful, as soon as our curiosity has been fulfilled, as soon as our economic situation is better, again, we'll leave Vrindavan and go somewhere else. So we should ask ourselves today, what is my intention? Why am I in Vrindavan? What am I here for? That's a very good question. So, a few weeks ago I was in Iceland. Have you heard of Iceland? It's lava. It's all made from volcanic eruption. No real mati, no real earth, just lava. With a little moss on it. And I was distributing books in front of the big church on the hill. And there was a tall man. He looked like a Viking. Over 2 meters tall. And when I approached him with Prabhupada's books, he said, I have to go to church. He's calling me. And I really liked the way how he was speaking. He's calling me. Like he had a calling from God. He said, many times a day I feel that calling and I have to go to the temple. I thought that's really nice. He was speaking in a very personal way, how God was calling him. So I gave him a small book, Beyond Birth and Death, and he gave me a donation, and we talked. And then he said, I like what you're doing. I want to help you. So he took out his phone, and he started scrolling. And I thought, what is he scrolling on his phone? So he was checking his accounts. And he said, I can give you $200. Would that be enough? And I said, whatever. So he sent electronically, sent me $200. Then he went to church, and after 10 minutes he came out. And he sat down and we talked together. And he told me a little bit of his life story, and I just listened to him. Have you noticed how sometimes you just need to listen, and that already solves most of the problems? Have you tried it? Yeah? Especially ladies know that, right? You're not looking for a solution. You just want somebody who hears you, right? So, and then he said, we need to stay in touch. So I gave him my number. Later in the day, he texted me. He said, I read the first page of your book. I like it very much. It says you're a spirit soul. You're not the body. I could not agree more. So this is the problem in the world. People don't know that they're the soul. They're the body. And I want to see you today. Come to my place. I have something for you. So I went there in the evening after my lecture. And he told me his life story. He studied to be a surgeon in London. medical doctor, but as he started the specialization, his wife fell sick and he had to take care of her. So he had to start working. He had to drop his study and he just became an ER doctor, emergency room doctor. So he was just seeing the people who come off the ambulance and diagnosing them and sending them to specialists. He told me his whole life story. And at the end he said, "You're doing very good work. I want to help you." And he just handed over a stack of cash. And when I went home, I counted it was 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees for beyond birth and death. But people don't want a transactional relationship. They want a transformational relationship. Then a few weeks later, he texted me. He said, "My father was very spiritual. He told me a lot about Indian gurus because I was afraid that he was very Christian and a little narrow. And I was not really telling him much about, the cultural differences. I was talking more about the principles of Krishna consciousness. The soul, God, prayer, humility. He really appreciated, he resonated with all that. And I was a little apprehensive not to put too much of the cultural masala on him. So he said, "My father taught me about Indian gurus. I never met an Indian guru till I met you in front of the church." So then a few weeks later he wrote to me and he said, "I have a problem. My priest left the church 3 months ago. I don't have a priest anymore who can answer my questions. Can you be that person?" I said, "Well, you're the doctor. You have to diagnose. If you think I'm able, I'm happy to do it." So then a few weeks later, he texted me and said, "I won the lottery." I texted back, "How many millions?" He said, no, not like that. The lottery of life. Like, not money, but like, I'm very lucky, I'm very blessed. But by the way, I also have more money than I need. So can I send you something? So we've been in touch. The point I'm trying to make here is that you may think that this knowledge here is everyday, ordinary. Like you would give a seminar on dehinosminyata dehe, you're not the body, you're the soul. How many people would show up? What do you think? Approximately. Like right now we have a lot of, Sevites who are doing garlands for the deities. And we have a few people who graciously stayed on from the Hindi class. There's probably about 5 people who came here to hear English class tonight. So, yet for people in the mature world, this information that you're not the body, you're the spirit soul, you're Atma, is the most revolutionary thing that they've ever heard their entire life. Have you met people like that? Who were like, wow, I get it. I'm a soul. I'm not this body. And that's really like breaking news. Tell all your friends, you're eternal, you're wise, and you're blissful. How about that? Next time you feel anxiety, stress, tension, frustration, remember, I'm eternal, I'm wise, and I'm blissful. Did you know that? You knew it, but you forgot it. Because right now, a lot of people, even here, look sometimes a little stressed out. They look sometimes a little tense. So, we're really grateful that Srila Prabhupada has given us this Golokera Premadana, Harinama Sankirtana. Now, just Atma Tattva Gyan is a very preliminary level of information. I understand people are looking for Vraja Prem. They want the highest. But without Sambandha, there is no Abhideya, and without Abhideya, there is no Prayojana. And if you don't have Adhikar, the right attitude, none of this will really have much impact on you. One time I was distributing books in Udupi, in front of Krishna Mat, the main temple of Madhavacharya, where this beautiful deity is. And one Pandit, he came, and he was wearing dhoti, chadar, big tilak, big Kuntimala, big Sika, and he had many big books with him. And he had 12 disciples who were surrounding him. And they were walking on that square just in front of the temple. And I stopped him, and I gave him a small book of Srila Prabhupada. And the Pandit looked at me and he said, "What's your qualification?" Now, qualification may mean many things. It may mean, what is your sampradaya, who is your guru, what's your academic background, what's your family lineage. Now, I know whatever I'm going to say, he's not going to like it. Now, what do you say when you don't know what to say? What do you do when you don't know what to say? Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't know what to say? So what do? Call mom? Count your money? No. What are you going to do? Krishna, I need a miracle. Have you ever tried that one? Today we were at Radha-raman, and we were having darshan of Radha-raman, and it was amazing. And then the phone started ringing. Not my phone, but Vaisheshika Prabhu's phone. And I realized I had his bag and his phone. And my friend Gopal Champu was calling me. So I picked up the phone, and I already knew, okay, I messed up. The bag is not where it's supposed to be. In that time, I was just holding my earplug, the special earplugs. You want to know what the secret for happiness is? You want to know what the secret for happiness is? Good earplugs and bad memory. Try it out. Good earplugs and bad memory. Because you don't have to hear all the noise. And bad memory, you don't remember anything bad people said or did. You know, you look at everybody and you go like, "Oh, a devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna. I'm so happy to see you." Bad memory, it helps. So, I dropped one of those specialized, custom-made earplugs while I was picking up the phone. And this is Radha-raman temple. And there's about 2,000 people in there. So there's no way of finding that earplug. It's a silicone earplug. It's translucent, so you can't, no color. You can't really see it. So I was trying, but I gave up. We went to the back. My friends came. We had a roaring kirtan, very melodious, great darshan of Radha-raman. Amazing. And after more than an hour and a half, as we were walking out the temple, I stepped on something. And I looked down, and it was my earplug. So, when you give up, when you say, "Krishna, I can't do this. I don't know how to manage this. It is beyond me." Krishna does what he always does. What does Krishna do? He does the magic, right? That's what he does. So, I didn't know what to tell to this Pandit. But all of a sudden, this line of a verse came to my mind, and I said, "Gopi parta parakamalayor dasa dasa anudasa." Which means, you know what it means. It means I'm trying to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis who are serving Krishna. Who is serving Srimati Radharani, who is serving Krishna. And as I said that, the Pandit, he looked at me and he started to smile. And then he reached to his dhoti. Now he was a healthy guy, like really healthy. And he reached in his dhoti and he started unrolling his dhoti. And he took out 10 rupees and he handed it to me. And he said, good boy, keep doing the good work." And he went on with his disciples and one of Prabhupada's books. So, what else have we got here? When you do sacrifice, you have to do it according to scripture. You can't just make stuff up. You see, sometimes people are doing yajñas, they just concoct them. They just make their own. They create their own little thing. And there is no prasad. So then you know, if there's no prasad, it's not really bona fide. There's no chanting of Vedic hymns or remuneration for priests. Durbiksha. You know what durbiksha is? Durbiksha. It means bhiksha, bhikshu sannyasi, they go for begging alms. Durbiksha is you're not getting anything. People don't give you anything because they say, why should I give you? I have 5 children. You should give me a donation. Have you heard that one? Huh? No? Have you gone on Sankirtan? You will hear all these nice things. Huh? In fact, nowadays people are going to sannyasis to take loan from sannyasis because they have the money. Householders are broke. Sannyasis have the money. Huh? Is it true? Yes or yes? Please say yes. Very good group. I knew it. I knew it. So, one time a friend of mine, an industrialist, there was a sannyasi who came and asked him for a loan. And the industrialist said, Maharaj, I like you very much. I can give you a donation, but I cannot give you a loan. Because you sannyasis don't know what it takes to make money. So I can give you a donation according to the project and your need, but I will not give you a loan. Because, so, there has to be a remuneration of the priests, that the priests are getting dakṣiṇa. Sometimes people try to avoid that. And they think, yeah, I gave to the temple, I gave at the office, but I'm not going to give to the priest. But that is not the proper attitude. So, all these things have to be taken into consideration. Otherwise, it is called sacrifice in a mode of ignorance. And that should be avoided. So this is today's verse. And today is Dasera and Vijayastami. So, appearance day of Madhavacharya and Lord Ramachandra killed Ravan. Any questions or comments? We still got 20 minutes. I was in Bratislava, Slovakia, and I went to a store to buy something, and I came like this, and the security guard was an elderly man, black uniform. He looked at me, and he said, "Are you a Hindu monk?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "I got 5 books." I said, "Do you know the mantra?" And he said, "Yes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare." Srila Prabhupada K. That's why you have to distribute Prabhupada's books. Because when Prabhupada's books are distributed, people will start chanting Hare Krishna. There's so many books out on the market. Have you been to Ras Bihari Lal? Have you seen upstairs? How many books does he have? Approximately. A lot of books, right? Yet, when people read Prabhupada's books, they get it. They get the Siddhanta. And they get it that they should chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, I had to write 80 books just to convince you to chant Hare Krishna. That is Srila Prabhupada's unique contribution. That these books have changed the face of the earth. When we started distributing in the early 80s, you told people, you remember, yoga, meditation, vegetarianism, karma, reincarnation, and people went, what? What? What are you talking about? Huh? People had no idea, no frame of reference of these topics in the West. And now today, all of this is mainstream, which means it's ordinary. It's in every movie, in every book, in every drama. It's just common, ordinary stuff. Every yoga studio teaches kirtan and bhakti. Have you noticed? In every yoga studio, you see kirtan, bhakti. So, why? 500 million of Prabhupada's books are out there. The marathon is coming, so we're giving you a little bit of a warm-up. Do you have plans for the marathon? Baba, hey, where are you going in the marathon? Here, Vrindavan. Sankirtan. Sound system. Yes, but you can also distribute books here. Possible, right? You don't have to go anywhere, you can just be here. There's millions of people walking through here every day. And thousands of books are distributed. People's lives become affected in a major way. When people see the deities, they hear kirtan, they get prasādam, and they get a book. It's like nuclear fusion. Boom! The bomb goes off. And all their material misconception become destroyed. So this is very much needed. This is the gift Srila Prabhupada came to give us. Yet Sankirtan is a team effort. Samyak Kirtan, which means, Samyak means what? Samyak. Congregational, team effort. So we have to be team players in order to do that. How many guys do you need to play cricket? 11, right? If you don't have 11, you can't play a game. So we have to have a team spirit. Are we team players? Nope. That's why we don't do much scoring these days. That's why we're not really that impactful, because we don't have a team player mentality. So we're here to learning love through cooperation. That is the process of Krishna consciousness. This is what is being taught here in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. When Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri at the Rath Yatra, he was dancing not only in front of the cart, but he was dancing simultaneously in all 7 kirtan parties. But only very few devotees could see this miracle, this magic. Most people were thinking, he's only dancing in my group. We are very fortunate. Mahaprabhu is dancing in our group. Only few, those who had Sankirtan, team effort, consciousness, they could see Mahaprabhu dancing in all 7 groups simultaneously. Can you imagine seeing Mahaprabhu dance in 7 groups at the same time? Have you ever heard that Tapan Mishra was an educated Brahmin, but yet he did not know the goal of life nor how to attain it? Have you heard that? Are you reading Prabhupada's books? Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, they were considered kanistas because of this topic, that they did not have enough shastric evidence, shastric knowledge, in order to defeat the Mayavadi sannyasis of Varanasi. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also mentioned that because Tapan Mishra was chanting his Krishna mantra silently for himself. He was not preaching, he was not engaging in Sankirtan, he was not working with others to spread the glories of the holy name. How many times do we think, I have my guru, I have my mantra, I have my Thakur, I am saved? Have you met people like that? One person has. 2. Have you ever thought like that? I have my mantra, I have my guru, I have my deity, I'm saved, I'm good. Prabhupada writes in the Purport to Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Pritipurvakam Dadhami Buddhiyogam Tam Yenamam Upayanti Te. Bhagavad Gita 10:10. he says, you may be in a spiritual movement, you may have a spiritual master, but you still don't know the goal of life, nor the way how to attain it. Sounds funny, right? How can you be in a spiritual movement and have a guru and not know the goal of life? Huh? Who is he talking about? Is he talking about him or her? No, he's talking about me. He's talking about me. He's talking about all of us. And then he writes something very beautiful. It's one of my favorite purports in the Gita. He said, but if you do your work, whatever it is that you do, and you do it with love for Krishna, then Krishna in your heart will give you the intelligence by which you can come to him. That's pretty nice, right? Do you like that? Do you like that? Thank you for your great audience participation. So we're very fortunate to be here in Vrindavan. Yet the question is, where is my consciousness? Have you noticed how easy it is to tune into different types of sound vibrations or consciousness? Consciousness is not a static thing. It's something very, very lively. It is constantly moving. So where do I repose my consciousness? In which frequency? What is my meditation? And what is my adhikar? What is my attitude or my qualification? Srila Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the practitioner. In English we say attitude is everything, or adhikar is everything. Utsaha nishchayadharya tat karma pravartanat sangotyaga satovrite sadbir bhaktir prasidati. Being enthusiastic, sincerely endeavoring with honest means, and being patient. All these things very helpful for the performance of devotional service. So we can see how both Madhavacharya and Lord Ram showed great vigor, great determination, great enthusiasm, and also great patience in their endeavors. So today let us pray to them for their blessings, and to Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, that we may also gain a glimpse of their insights, of their mercy. Prasāda leshanu grihita evahi. Janasya tattvam bhagavan mahim no. Chanya kopi chiran vichinvan. Lord Brahma says, unless we get a little fraction, a lesha, just a little slither, a little fraction of the mercy of the Lord, you cannot understand. We cannot understand His glories, because He is very, very far away. Asamordva. He's outside of the purview of our senses. We cannot grasp Him with our mundane intelligence. Brahma had found that out the hard way. He had found that out the hard way when he tried his little game with stealing the cow boys and calves. And he became utterly bewildered. So much so that at the end, when he came back after a moment, he saw the cow boys and the calves. And then he went back to the cave and there was cow boys and calves. And he went back out and he saw cow boys and calves. And then his mind went blank. The acharyas say that there are actually 3 sets of cow boys and calves. Now how do you end up with 3? We just talked about the 2, right? The one that he saw playing outside, what were they? Those were Krishna. Krishna manifested himself as the cow boys and the calves. Who are the ones sleeping in the cave? That's the illusory ones, the ones that Krishna created. Because Brahma, he cannot touch the real cow boys. They were somewhere else. Krishna was hiding them. So the original set of cow boys and calves were in hiding by Krishna. Because Brahma does not have access. He cannot touch those. So Krishna created a set of cow boys and calves, an illusory set that Brahma stole and put into the cave in mystic slumber. So there's 3 sets of cow boys and calves. And Brahma's mind just went blank. Now you have to understand, Brahma's entire body consists of purified intelligence. So he came back and he got totally bewildered. And then he realized he made a mistake. And he went to Krishna to apologize. And Krishna just stood there. And he was holding in his left hand some fruit with some yogurt and some rice. And the yogurt was dripping from his left hand. He was eating with his left hand. That's what bewildered Brahma, because he thought, this cannot be God, because he's eating with his left hand. Huh? And he looked at Krishna, and Brahma was offering his prayers. And Krishna just looked at him. What are you talking about? I'm just a cow boy. I'm just looking for my friends and for my calves. And Brahma realized that his presence was no longer required. So he left. He went back to do his service. All these insights are in Prabhupada's books. We get all these jewels. We can mine all these gems from the books of our acharyas. But are we reading the books of our acharyas? That is the question. Questions, comments? Not all at once. Yes.
Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to everyone. Prabhu, I have this question. When we talk about determination, enthusiasm, and patience in bhakti, sometimes I will take my example that when I have finished my 16 rounds, I'm like so happy, I'm like satisfied. Okay, done for the day. We have gotten to this day. So is satisfaction in bhakti same as or is as good as satisfaction in material life? Or if there is a difference, then why is there a difference between the satisfaction, determination, and enthusiasm that is in the material life and spiritual life?
Thank you. So first of all, we should not be minimalist. Srila Prabhupada said minimum 16 rounds. So it's not like 16 rounds, that's it. You're not allowed to do more. Okay? So you are allowed to chant more. You knew that, right? So try it out. It actually works. Because once you do what you're supposed to do, and then you go beyond that, then you realize, hey, I like this. This is good. Let's just keep going. Before that, it's like, okay, I do this, I do that, I did my duty, I've been a good boy or a good girl. But once you start actually breaking through those mental barriers, you realize there's a different world. There's a whole other world beyond just the call of duty. Okay? And then to your point about satisfaction, in a mature world, there is really no satisfaction. I mean, you don't know that song because you're too young. I can't get no satisfaction, but you must try, try and try. So we have been trying for satisfaction for very long. And people have been writing about it. They've been making movies and songs and poetry and dramas about it. Yet somehow satisfaction is elusive. Have you ever heard of the blues? The blues. Have you ever had the blues? The blues is when you're sad, you're melancholic, you're depressed. Because you can't get what you want. Because in this world, satisfaction is not possible. Why? Because The modes are continuously fighting for supremacy, which means you work very hard to achieve your goal. Just like you got your perfect arrangement. You got your perfect apartment, your perfect bed, your perfect food, you watch your perfect movie, and then what happens? You fall asleep. And you forgot everything that happened. And then you got to go back to work. It's kind of bad, right? Because when everything's perfect, you just fall asleep. That's why we're very fortunate, because here we make things a little austere so that you don't fall asleep, so you can actually pay attention. So in the material world, satisfaction is really an elusive idea. It doesn't exist. Yet in bhakti, in spiritual life, we take our satisfaction from knowing that I am pleasing Guru and Krishna. It's not about trying to satisfy my senses, because the senses are never satisfied. It is a fire that continuously keeps burning. How much ghee, how much oil can you put into a fire? Unlimited. It never stops burning. It never stops asking for more fuel. So, but in bhakti, when we satisfy Krishna through Guru Parampara, then we gain a sense of satisfaction that is on a whole other level. We realize that this process works. By trying to serve Guru and Krishna, I'll actually become happy. Have you tried it? You have. It works, right? It does work. Confirmed. He guarantees you, money back guarantee. You don't like it, go back to him. He'll give you a refund. This is the most important verse of all the Vedic literatures. What is it? Come on, work with me, people. I know you're all on Braj Prem, but Sambandha Gyan is also part of the package. What is the most important verse of all the Vedic literatures? That's an important one, but Prabhupada said the most important one. Yasya deve para bhaktir, ta deve tata gurau, tasyaite katita hyarta, prakashante mahatmana, shvetashvatar Upanishad. I believe 6.23 or something like that. You can look it up. What does it mean? It means that if you please Guru, then all the Vedic teachings will become revealed in your heart. That zip file, it will unzip. And everything will become manifest in your heart. Just by the mercy of the spiritual master. That is real satisfaction. When you gain a whole different level of understanding, a whole different level of taste, of appreciation, because you have done the right thing. You have chosen to go the rare path of accepting spiritual authority and following this bona fide path of Krishna consciousness. It works. Countless people have walked this path, like our great acharyas and millions of others. It works. Yet, we think, no, I want to try it on my own. I want to do it my way. Have you ever tried? You have. Did it work? No. But you keep trying, right? Yeah, sometimes. Every now and then, right? We start getting into our own little plan making. Till we realize that real satisfaction comes from knowing that I am pleasing my superior authorities. There's great pleasure, there's great happiness in that. Yet it is not a material pursuit. And it can be experienced right here, right now. Just like here. You're sitting on a hard floor and you're hearing Bhagavad Gita. And the mind says, oh no, let's get out of here. Let's go do something else. Does your mind ever tell you that? No, your mind is trained up, right? You know, I'm going to do this. But it happens sometimes. But then we overcome the influence of our mind. As you have just done, you successfully sat through this 1-hour class. And I hope you remembered something that will actually make you happy, that will give you satisfaction. What is something of this class or of this verse that gave you satisfaction? Tell me something that gave you satisfaction. Yes. We have a microphone. Can you hand it to him? Yes, Prabhu.
Jai Prabhu, only hearing just a few minutes. This is Krishna's mercy. He always gives you exactly what you need when you need it. When you're saying exactly what it is that we need to do to be able to understand Krishna, we have to please the spiritual master. When that part is manifest and it becomes, as you said, unzipped, everything becomes open. Krishna is only going to reveal himself. Yasa prasada bhagavad prasada. There is only one way to be able to understand Krishna consciousness, and that is to please the spiritual master. That is the sum bonum of everything that we are ever supposed to be doing. And that itself, just hearing just for that one few minutes has given me a clear understanding of what I should focus on.
Thank you. Well, I felt purified just seeing you there standing in the window, you know? Okay, last comment. Who else remembers something? Anybody remembers anything? Gopal. Gopal is always good for...
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I like the point you were mentioning about the gentleman you met in Iceland, and how, yeah, we never actually know what people are going through, what their life story is. So when we're out there in the world, to always kind of remain in this mindset, this compassionate state of mind, and to really try to help people out. So I appreciated that. You can see he was affected, you know, by the way you were telling the story, that he was positively affected by your association.
Thank you. Yes, Lord Chaitanya, he sat for 7 days and he heard the Pandit in Puri, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. For 7 days he listened to him, very humbly. And he captured his heart by his humility. He said, in the lowly place, he captured the heart of some of Prakashananda's followers. So, this is amazing. People just show up and sit down. I have to tell, the class is over. Huh? More class. Now you have to give class, okay? Sanskrit class. Oriya. Now Oriya class. Okay, 3 class in one night. Okay, sorry for if I went into your time. I didn't know that there was another class. You see here, people are so kind and gentle. They won't tell you, you know. In other places, everybody tells you what to do and what not to do. But here, people are just too nice. Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasundubhyeva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.